you have feedback on, and you have your input. So if there's questions you have on things like our school-to-home contact, this is your time to give us feedback on. So these are the things that these kind of meetings are for. So because we have Title I funds, we're required to have these kind of meetings, and that's our presentation.
That's it?
That's it.
I got here kind of late then, huh? My fault.
Available to our students at home. Because I've had some issues over the past school year, where I had a student out and the teacher's homework was all digital.
It should be in our handbook, and our handbook should be online. So if you have any questions, we can talk afterwards. You and I can talk to my office if we need to, anything you need. School to home contact? Sure. That is also provided every year in our handbook.
How did anybody find out about this?
About
This meeting?
we have to post it via social media, and we post it through Sally.
There was a post on social media regarding the air quality of the school, and then like soon after, or sometime spring, all of a sudden there's a meeting. So
That was we have to have a school improvement meeting, and we have this every year during our literacy week. We're going to do it hand in hand, so you don't have to come here. That just happened to be a coincidence. Delaware Elementary does theirs next week.
We didn't have it.
Yes.
There was none. Was it?
Yeah, we have one. I was at middle school. The middle school had one during their literacy night, and North Stewart Elementary had theirs during their literacy night last year.
Also, another question, concern. I know I'm not the only parent that goes through it. Whenever I come pick up my kid early, I never get asked for my ID. I never get asked who I am. I just get asked who my kid is. And that's it. My kid just gets handed out to me. And I know y'all don't have any pictures of what the parents look like, because I didn't take any picture. I'm kind of concerned because y'all have the active shooter policy and everything. And y'all are just handing kids out. I don't know who they are at the office. Okay. And y'all don't have a picture of me, so I'm just scared that my kid's going to get accidentally handed out to somebody that I don't know, and they ask.
Our policy for car riders and or for early dismissals is if we do not know you, then we do ID and compare the ID to the emergency card, and it has to be someone on the emergency card, or if the parent has called in a car rider note. So they know you.
I've also never seen them check the paper either after I sign it.
When you pick him up, they check.
I've never seen them check the paper after I sign it. Even the first time I picked them up, never.
I mean, in regards to that, before we were signing out, and because of active shooter policy, COVID, whole nine, kids are getting shoved out the door. Everyone knows mine. I mean, and I know most of the faculty, just like when I went to pick them up last Tuesday, Julie Morgan was like, come on. And when we get in the office, I was like, don't you need to see my ID or something? Like, I know, I was like, okay, I'll just check. Well, in years past, that's the way it was. Before COVID, we would go into the office, we would check IDs, emergency cards, whole 9 yards, and it seems like post-COVID, since we aren't allowed into the double doors during school hours, they're kind of just shoved out the door, and here's a clipboard, and we just sign our names and take off. I was just trying to help her point.
I think since a lot of us know you, we recognize you as a parent, and
right. Well, I understand.
We start out that we can ID you every time.
I just feel a lot safer with my kids.
We'll ID you every day.
You guys have done great with me. I had to change my parents' pickups twice, and they stopped IDs and put ID both. I added onto my contacts too. So you guys have done really good. Just so you know, they probably know your face. They probably recognize your face, but first, like anyone, they haven't met Dave ID both people.
Dave ID my mom, picking up my kids.
We try to ID anybody who's unfamiliar. If you're familiar every single day, we try to make our pickup lines a lot more quicker and efficient. So that's what we're trying to do. But if you feel safer, that's our priority. Our first priority is for our children to be safe. We will ID you every day.
I understand the car life very well. I'm talking about early dismissal.
Okay, that's just, we will do better.
I have family that looks similar to me, and I'm just, you know, any one of them could come
That's
up.
like you said, our priority is to keep your child safe.
Yes.
So what about the air quality report with the carbon monoxide issue?
Well, the air quality report, that's something that was the train did an air quality report for a grant, and they have submitted that to Mr. Craig. And so, would you like to speak to that?
I know there's a lot of questions about the air quality. We've been, since 2000, I became director in 2019, we went through, we asked Train to come in, and we're doing audits of all of our buildings. At the request of one of our parents, I had them do an air quality test in our school. There were CO2, as everybody knows, is elevated. Now, some of the causes of that, when this school was built in the 1970s, it was built and you aired your schools out by opening the doors. Sadly, since our society now, we have to worry about the safety of our kids. The doors, we get written up by the fire marshal if we keep our doors open. So we are in the process of solving these problems. We're not ignoring it. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. We are going to take recommendations that Train is making for all of our schools, and I can promise you this, North Stewart Elementary is at the top of the list on what we're going to do to improve the air quality in our buildings. We've looked at our absentee rates. Overall absentee rates in North Stewart is the highest in the county. So y'all can bring your kids to school, and we love that. You want them here. We want them here. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that they're healthy when they're here. Now, I will tell you this. It's not going to be a quick fix. To put in air handlers like we're going to have to do is going to be a process. I had a meeting with Train yesterday. If we do what we think we're going to have to do, the lead time on getting an air handler is 20 weeks. So hopefully, after the board meeting in April, when Train gives their final presentation on what we need to do, the board will decide how we're going to proceed, and I can promise you that this is not an issue that's being ignored. That's why I came out here tonight, because I knew there were going to be questions. This was not a meeting called because of anything on social media. We have these meetings every year. The Dover Elementary is having theirs next week. I guess the middle school's already had theirs earlier in the year. This is all about family engagement, and we want to hear your concerns. I'm open. I'm easy to get in touch with. Email, call. If you want to come in and meet with me, I'll talk to you about it. We're not trying to pull anything, folks, I promise you. I worry about these kids as much as anybody else. My kids went through Stewart County schools. Hopefully someday, I don't guess my kids are ever planning on having kids, so I'm not going to be a grandparent, I don't guess. But if they did, I want them to go here. We have a great community. You care about your kids, that's why I think we do have a great community. great school community. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I can assure you that we are doing everything we can. If I had a quick fix, I'd do it. You know, there's a lot of fly-by-night guys out there say, all right, we'll bring these air scrubbers in, stick a ionizer or whatever they call them in a room. You know, the research on those don't show it. The only way to get it to where you want it to be is to be able to introduce fresh air into the building. These buildings were not built for that. Yes, ma'am.
I also want to add to it, if the school's having a lot of water damage, the gym, and I know the roof leaks.
It's a priority. That's on our top.
Also, why are they tearing out carpet?
That was a project that was done.
During school hours though.
Okay, let me address that too. We've been assured by the carpet contractor. The rooms that we're tearing them out of are not occupied all day long. The contractor are required, if they see any traces or hints of mold, they stop.
I'm not talking about just mold too. Like ripping up carpet, all that debris and dust flies up while the kids are in school. My son has severe allergies. So if he
I
gets...
don't mean to interrupt you, but we're done until spring break. We're not doing anything now. Tearing it
Oh,
out.
I just seen it today, that's why I was asking.
Are you here today?
I
I
got a
think
picture.
today was the last day.
I got a picture of it,
Okay.
so yeah.
I know today they were going to finish up. We've tried to make sure that we're not near, and they keep the doors open when they're taking the carpet out. We were sure that it was by them that, you know, in fact, I got an email today from the contractor that stated that. He said, we have found no evidence of mold. If we do see it, we have to stop work, and they'll have to clean the carpets before we can even take them out. And those carpets are cleaned every year. And as far as the dust, I don't know how much is getting out into the building when they go.
So I pull carpet on Campbell, and we have to wear dust masks. If you don't, it's everywhere. I mean, it's in your padding. I don't know if you guys have padding on yours. I'm not sure. But yeah, when you collect it, that's what it is. There's dust. There's stuff in there. That's why you vacuum every time in your house. If you have carpet, there's always something, because there's always something in that padding that soaks through and it'll just sit there. It doesn't necessarily make mold, but it will make dust and debris and stuff.
We've been trying to get these carpets, actually, long before I became director of schools, they started taking carpets out. I mean, at one point we couldn't afford to do it all at once. We were able to do this project all at once because of the ESSER 2, Dr. Doug? ESSER 3 money that we received. That was part of our plan that was approved by the school board. And so we haven't been able to get a contractor for a while to even bid on it. And finally we got it bid out. They came in, Clarksville Flooring's coming in, and they've done it as fast as they can, trying to get it wrapped up.
So Go ahead.
So I'm sorry if I hope it hasn't caused any kind of major problems for them, but they shouldn't have any more exposure to that at all. We're done. We're going to hold off on the last of what we've got to do until spring break.
He's on 3 different medicines ever since starting school because of how bad his allergies got. That's just my main concern. I'm not trying to come off rude or anything. I'm just a very concerned parent.
I understand.
I am scared for my child's life in this world. And coming to school, that's new.
Right.
So, that's just
We're
my
going to do
concern.
everything we can to make it a healthy place and protect you and make your child safe here. I mean, that is our number one priority. I'm a lifelong educator. My parents are both educators. That's all I've ever known. So to me, this is not just a job, it's my passion. And it hurts me if I think our kids are not getting the best. That's why we want to do all this stuff. This school was built, I was in first grade when this school was built.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Mike Craig, I'm the superintendent.
Okay, thank you. I just don't know you, so I just wasn't sure.
I'll show you
In the
there.
pattern of
Sorry,
where, I have a question on the air conditioning situation. I understand that you guys are working on fixing the situation. But I would like to get a little bit more information about when you say they have to replace the air handler. how many air handlers are we talking about? And what
Like
is
the
the
project
BTA
cost.
timeline? I know you said it, sorry, I know you said it was 20 weeks to receive an air handler, but what is the expected time from the time that you guys, like now, until it's completed and the air quality is correct?
Well, there's some steps to it. We have to know exactly what we need to do, what's recommended, what we'll have to have. Then they will have to, if we get it approved to move forward with the project, the plan would be to go ahead this summer and get ductwork put in, put the framing in to hold and when the air handler, as soon as they can be delivered.
So the funds are set aside for this,
Yes.
and it's all in planning?
Yes.
So what is the expected time frame to
I'm
complete
hoping
this?
that, again, the approval at the earliest could be in April. So you figure.
I think that would be helpful for us to know.
Yeah,
like, what
20
is
weeks from there, so you got the summer, which is 12 weeks. I would say,
my
I'm
fault?
gonna be conservative on my estimate. I would say, November at the latest, Christmas break.
Well, it's good to know that the funds are set aside for
Yeah,
it.
we
and that
haven't,
it's
they've been set aside. It's
And that's-
extra 3 money.
And that's great. that
And we just didn't want to go in and just start tearing stuff out and trying to fix stuff haphazardly. The whole idea was to get the things
right the
right,
first
do it right. That's why we're getting engineers to help us, because none of us are,
Well, from
even
what
our
I-
maintenance people, we don't have people who that can manage a project like that. That's why you want to have an
Do you
engineer.
know about how many air handlers are needed for the school?
I think the plan calls for 3.
That's good.
For the roof holder? I know
The
there's been-
engineers say they
Okay, I
will.
was about to say, I know there's been.
I mean, the guys are a lot smarter than me that are civil engineers, mechanical
I
engineers.
was
say
just wondering if
will.
the roof had to be replaced before the air handlers were put in.
That's hopefully that we can replace the roof.
And you said mid-fall, right? Just a basic timeline, right?
I'm gonna say, I would like to get about there past that, and I know,
Right.
but we're gonna do everything we can to keep things.
So did Trey say that the school could be active while they're doing this?
To get all the ductwork and everything, they can put a air handler on the roof while people are here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because what I'm understanding,
Man, it's been a rough week and a half or so, and if I seem like I'm, a little frazzled a little bit, I am. It's not easy, it's not all this. It's just everything. And I want to be as open and transparent with all of y'all as I can be.
What about the gym?
sorry, I just wanted to finish up on the air conditioning thing. So what I understanding, the problem is that the air conditioning units that are here don't take air in from the outside, and therefore it doesn't allow oxygen to come in as it gets depleted.
Most of our rooms are cooled and heated by what are called split.
Split units, right.
The old, they didn't have air handlers
Right.
to cool the air.
Exactly, so it doesn't pull air from the outside, therefore with the windows.
Not in
and doors-
every classroom, now,
Right.
in the general areas where you have the roof, there is some fresh air that comes in
Right.
like in here.
But in classrooms when the doors are closed and there's students in
See,
there,
in the past,
and there's no oxygen coming in,
in the
and
past,
it
if
takes
you
up
had
the
the doors,
oxygen
if you
levels,
had the
right?
doors open, the CO2
Right.
rose up to above the.
What about being able to open windows during the nicer temperatures while the kids are in
We
school?
don't have any windows.
There's no open,
Just doors.
so there's no open, like any open window that can be opened in the roof?
There's no windows in the roof.
And there's always a threat, like this school in Texas where a shooter got into an open door.
If a fire marshal now walks into our building and a teacher has their outside door open, they write us in.
Oh, I understand the door part. I was
It's
just
all
hoping
about
maybe
the
they can
safety.
open the windows, but
We don't have windows.
if there isn't any windows to be able to open. Well, because somebody explained to me that not right now, but I guess a few years ago when this first became apparent that this has been a problem for a while, that somebody spoke to the principal and they said, well, all they got to do is open the windows. So if the windows can't be opened, I don't understand that answer.
That was probably before a lot of the different safety things, they could open the doors. Because we used to keep the doors open on weather like today. Every door in this building would have been open.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the doors open because even a small child, if the teacher don't pay attention for a minute, out is the kid in the yard because he doesn't want it.
I went to Dover Elementary and we had windows.
Right.
We
I'm
didn't
just
have air
surprised that the
conditioner when
windows
I
can't be
started and
open.
they opened up the windows and fans and that's all we had. Yeah, I think you had a question.
whenever y'all are gonna check for mold too, because like, first of all, my daughter has severe allergies. She has been absent for 21 days this school year. And I firmly believe it's because of the air quality and probably the mold in the school, because she can be given antibiotics and she'll get better, but within 2 weeks of coming back to school, she's sick again or at the doctor's office.
Well, we just had ordered a test, air quality test for every building in the system, and that will be coming forth in the next 3 weeks.
But that's the air quality, does that include?
We're going to do mold, yeah, the whole game. Before it was just the whole game.
So the tests have been ordered?
We just got the specification or the amount that it would cost. If it falls under the amount, we would have to bid it out. Jamie, the company is Dr. Air is going to be doing a mold. There were like 4 or 5 things that they're going to be testing for mold.
So, but that is set already?
Yeah, and that's going to happen in every school in the system.
And that's on all, like, because there's 2 wings of school, the mold will be both sides?
Everything's
every
everything.
room, because if it's just specific to maybe someone's,
As far as the way I understand it, they're going to do a complete analysis, everything. We're spending like, we're spending like close to $15,000 to have that.
Awesome.
So what will people be notified of the outcome so we know what to expect?
It's going to be, that's public record.
So how do you guys provide that publicly?
We will, once we know what it is, and we will, if there's an issue, we'll have a meeting like this, or we'll send an email out to everyone and let them know.
So it's emailed to the parents? But how about the rest of the public? That's not a parent.
We can.
I'm just asking, does it get communicated to the community somehow?
I'm sure there'll be a newspaper story on it.
On the school website or something like that?
Yes, ma'am. We'll get it out there to everybody.
So school website will be something that we can check on that then?
I do want to say that Mr. Craig has made North Stewart a priority. So because our building is the oldest building in the system. So our building is a priority. So I want you all to rest assured that our building is a priority.
That's great to know. Yeah, I just wanted to check and see where that can be followed up on, if it's on the school website or some other place.
The only reason why I was asking about the gym is because I know when gyms are built, they're made for outside air handlers because they're made to have a populace in there, a bunch of CO2 and a bunch of moving
If
around.
I'm not mistaken, you tell me if I'm wrong, Jamie, because our gyms, the air units that are used there, they do pull in fresh air, correct?
Here?
Yeah, yeah, they already have them in there.
Well, I know. That's why all gyms are made, okay? My question is the gym done so we can open the door and use those air handlers to try to circulate air?
The gym is not done. We've had some issues with getting the final finish.
That's why I was worried. My son was telling me
some delays in getting that finished.
He was like, Dad, the gym's done. I'm like, oh, cool, you get to use it? He's like,
We gotta get one more coat on there. And they won't work on it.
All the kids are waiting for the gym.
And they won't, the company that's doing it will work on it until we have a stretch of weather where there's no chance of a leak. Because if it starts leaking and they put that down, we can't go in there and catch it.
Even the relative humidity being
I'm
high.
not going to deny that we don't have roof issues, and that's another thing we're looking at, is trying to get this all fixed. Because all of it causes issues. Wet, dripping in, all that. That's all. I hate that it's got to the idea that we were just ignoring it. And maybe that's my fault, and I'll take blame for that. I'm not doing a good job communicating with everybody. We're going to do better at that. But this is, since I became director, this school has been what we've looked at where we've got to take care of some issues.
Oh, sure, 1974 is a long time. That's what we've done. I'm old.
My father helped build this school. He carried blocks to the old part during the summer when he wasn't teaching. That's what he did. So I remember when this was being built. As far as structurally, it's probably the most solid school.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
When the tornado hit, this is built.
Absolutely. That's why I love this.
Yeah.
So I know what we got, from my understanding, last time I spoke with Kara, it was that that I think every hallway had a radio, or teacher had access to a radio, and is there ability for each staff member to have a radio, or are all the phones working in classrooms so they're able to?
I do. Every grade level has at least 2 radios right now. I try to purchase additional radios, but right now every grade level has at least 2 radios.
Okay.
So they're.
Do you know if the call buttons work in the?
Every call button. I went to every room.
That was my thing. I was like, okay.
I checked every call button.
Let's see if these work. Perfect.
Yes.
They all work.
They all work. Every call button works. Yes, sir.
Is there something, I'm not sure, some way we could alter the way bus notes are made? Because I have 3 offspring and I've called in a bus note and I'll have 2 of my 3 kids show up and then they'll have to do an all call. Is there a way?
Is it a 3rd grader? 4th grader?
Yeah. But it's happened, you know, one time I had to rush out of here and go home and pick up the 3rd one because he was already on the bus.
Okay, come talk to me. We'll talk about that later.
I'm sorry.
We'll talk about that. That's something, if it's an issue that you're having specifically, we'll talk about it so we can fix it.
I just didn't know if there was a way that, you know, I call it in. I know maybe I could write it. I don't know.
I know we don't do bus notes, a change, you know, but if it's like a car issue.
That's what I meant.
We'll talk about that and we'll fix it, okay?
Okay.
I got an answer to your question about, there's no padding of it. Just glue it to the ground.
What's that mean?
They go in and tear it out, take the glue up, and then we put it in the
Square tile?
Yes,
carpet?
square tile just like this.
Square tile carpet though? Is it carpet squares?
Oh, no, it's not a
Or is it
carpet
full
tile,
sheet?
no, it's just a, yeah, just
Sheet of carpet?
yeah, seamed where it needed to be seamed.
It looks just like this. Nice and easy.
Go ahead and glue on it.
What is the plan from tomorrow till November for these kids that are getting sick? What are you going to do about them? I mean, maybe you'll discuss this, I was a couple minutes late, but from tomorrow until November, what are these kids that are getting sick supposed to do?
If they're sick.
No, not sick, from getting sick from, there's a lot of kids.
We're trying our best to air it out when we can.
Right.
We're replacing the carpets.
Right.
The things that could lead to that, we don't know exactly what, I mean.
But there's a high number of kids here.
But our absence, sir, I don't want to argue with you, but our absence. No, I'm just, and I'm trying to answer.
Okay.
We have
our absentee rate is better now than it's been, and I was just telling them that. I don't know what the answer you're looking for.
What is the plan? What are the...
If you have a child that's really sick, we do have a chronic illness form that you can have filled out if your child is chronically ill, and that is the answer to your question. Like, her child may be getting sick a lot, so she'll need to come in, take a chronic illness form to her doctor, and like if Lainey is getting sick a lot, that's something we can do, and that you'll have to talk with Miss Jackie Farragon about that.
I didn't know anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something you
Because
can
I wasn't arguing.
Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. I'm tense, man. I'm a human being.
I mean, we came to, me and another biker came to you about another thing, so, you know what I mean? I get you.
I think what he was asking is, are you guys taking any steps to better
We're
it
getting them
between
out.
now and November?
We're getting them outside every time. They're spending a lot of time outside. When the rooms are unoccupied and there's nobody in the building, we're opening up the building and airing it out. The report that I got, when the rooms are unoccupied, that CO2 comes down fast.
Do you have CO2 detectors?
We have them where they're required in the building, but we've done CO2 tests.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some more testing done on that to kind of monitor it. Now, do we have a CO2 monitor in every room?
Well, they'd be low. They wouldn't be high.
Okay, but we don't have them in every room. But everywhere that the law requires where gas is used, like in these pump rooms and things,
Yes, sir.
we have them in there. But we're trying our best.
Maybe I worded my question wrong, my bad.
Yeah, but we are.
Because that's the thing. There's a attendance, not an attendance,
There's an attendance law.
Right, thank you. And that form will cover that before?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The chronic illness form.
Because that's what I was going to get.
For past excuses, or is it only as soon as you sign that, then for?
Well, if you get a doctor to sign that, then that'd take care of things.
From the whole school year.
Well, you would go from this point forward, so
That's what I was asking.
yeah, you wouldn't have any kind of, there wouldn't be any kind of repercussions. There wouldn't be, you wouldn't be called for truancy review or anything like that. And that's not, those truancy things are, that's state law. We're following state law.
Yeah, that's understandable, because there's parents that don't care about their kids going to school.
You know, last year, since 2020, last year, we had a chronic absentee rate of 33%. Now, what that means is, excused, unexcused, whatever, that means they miss 18 days of school. If you miss 18 days of school, that's 10% of instruction time. The state says that is chronic absenteeism. They could be 18 excused days, and they're going to ding us as a school system for us having kids out too much. You might not ever get a truancy thing. You have 18 doctor's notes. You never. That's why we want the doctor's notes and things to make sure that people aren't abusing it.
After 10 days of him having excuses, I've gotten a truancy warning, which I corrected with her about having an excuse. But it was just the fact that it scared me, like, oh my goodness, I can't, my kid's gonna have to go to school sick because
we don't want
to have a
that.
doctor's note.
And we do reach out at that 10-day mark, because it's that halfway point to 18, just to check in and see if there's anything we can do to support you. That's not a truancy check-in, that's just kind of a, hey, what can we do together to help you?
it's just the word truancy that scares every parent.
Yeah.
Don't go truancy.
No. I don't want to go court period.
You don't mind. Two things. I think I'm not sure, I could be wrong, please tell me. Your rating was down so low because of COVID last year. Everybody was scared and all this new stuff. People were keeping their kids home. And you guys were sending them home. And, you know, so
yeah,
that might be why.
It was a combination of things. It was
but you would look at the following year and see how.
And that was
right.
That was. You know, we were in full session last year. We didn't miss for COVID either last year.
No, we did not miss one day for COVID last year.
So that was where our the year before that, okay, I became director in 19, April of 2020. We shut schools down. My first year, and then we came back, tried to come back. We were in and out, and that was. There were times during that second year where we had 50% of the population was home, and we were still having school. Last year, we were open, but we still had a lot of people miss 18 days. That 18 days, and I hope everybody understands, 18 days of school doesn't sound like much. That's a lot. I mean, that's in our world. A 20-day month is our school week. You know, each month is 20 days, so that's like missing. It's 10% of the instruction. And number one, you look at any research on education, the number one factor is being there. Just like going to your job. And, you know, we also want to teach our older kids responsibility. Y'all miss 18 days of work, you're not going to have to.
My follow-up question is with the whole truancy thing. She can go to the doctor for 18 times, but that's like $45 every time she goes. You know, that sucks.
That's 5 call-ins.
Right, but per kid possibly.
But if they're
sick because of the building, the way it's happening, that's 18 days, $45 every certain amount of time. I don't know about you.
And you can have some unexcused, and then you can also.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if you feel like your doctor feels like it is a chronic thing, that they can sign that form and those acts.
With black and blue eyes. Looks like he's been punished. And as soon as he comes home, it clears up in 4 to 5 hours. He has a horrible cough. As soon as he comes home, like, I honestly think he's going to choke to death. He's turning red. And that's exactly,
I think what one of the concerns of some of the parents are, which I understand because I've been through that myself, is the lack of oxygen that is in the school right now, together with the possibility of causes a lot of these problems that causes kids to get sick because it reduces their immune system and then they get sick with other things. So it's a snowball effect. It also creates a real hard time for students to develop, especially at the elementary school age, and be able to study and learn when they don't have enough oxygen in their life. And if they're constantly bombarded with a low oxygen level and a possibility of mold, it can only be negative because they can't learn. I said if. But if there is been a long-term leak, good chance there's just other perspectives. I'm not saying there is.
I had a air quality person tell me that you walk outside and walk on the
That's a different mold than the inside mold.
You bring it back in.
Right, but it's completely different.
So we have not found it.
The mold due to moisture and a leak is a completely different mold.
That's why we're doing all, that's why we're going to do all this.
I'm just saying that probably has a lot to do with some of the absentees. It would be interesting to see that once the air handlers are corrected and the roof is fixed, it would be interesting to see in the coming years if the absentees or even the grades overall are raised. Because I mean, it is a fact that a child can't really learn if they're low in oxygen. It creates brain friction problems. So it'll be really interesting to see once this is fixed if that helps overall.
I hope that we get all these issues fixed and in the upcoming years, we're having these meetings, we're talking about how great it is. We've done what we set out to do. Because, one of the things that I wanted to do when I became director was to improve our facilities. We haven't done any kind of major facilities upgrades in this system in years.
And if the air conditioning system has been like this since the building was built, that means it's been an ongoing issue the whole time.
Yeah, they didn't have the same problems then. They had a little bit later.
We're talking about because of opening. So when did that stop?
The policy to keep the door shut just a couple, 3 years ago. And I don't have all the I'd say probably in the past 4 or 5 years, we really had to do safety. But when I first became director, 3 years, this is my 4th year, it was not uncommon for our teachers to have the doors open. The state law has said you cannot have an open door during snow.
That's why I was asking when did that go into effect?
There is mold now. There is mold. How would y'all know that? Would y'all do it?
Whatever the professionals tell us to do, they're
I'm
ready.
saying, like, would the kids be still in school while y'all taking care of it?
I can't tell you that because I don't know what the professionals are telling me. I'm not an engineer.
Yeah, he's a teacher.
So I mean, I have to depend on others around me to help me with this. Yes, ma'am.
I know when I was in school, it's been a little while since I was out of school, I ain't gonna go into how long it's been. But if you missed so many days, you had to repeat the grade. Well, my daughter's missed 21 days of school due to sickness, so is she gonna have to repeat the first grade?
We would have had a meeting with you before. Anytime retention is discussed, we would have meetings with you prior to that.
Well, I know this is up, this is Tennessee policy, but I heard something about them repealing it.
No, they're not going to repeal it. The governor is behind it 100%. He's got his legislation to do that. I will tell you this, there's so many options. If they don't get what they have to on that one test, there's all kinds of ways that we can get them to where they progress forward. Number one, they go to summer school. They can agree to go to tutoring during the 4th grade year. Show progress, and they can move on. We're going to have the only way a child be retained is if the parent of the child just decides to be no. We have no choice, but if they don't pass that,
I just know it's scary a lot of parents because they're like, look, my kids are always do all year long. And now this thing comes out and they're
grades and state tests don't always
well, that's what the question is. you know, are these teachers are doing hundreds, and then all the kids are failing? Because all of a sudden, you have 8 quality students, and they're not having the
They don't standardized test and we can stay here all night.
Right.
No, I mean, my personal feelings on it,
It just scares the
all one. I think our kids are getting a good education.
I mean, since we moved from Clarksville on East Street, which is a pretty good neighborhood, we love this. My son went to high school and graduated. He was an F student and went to high school, you know, over there, A's, straight A's. So it's just a concern parents, that's all.
If you feel like I'm being defensive, I guess I am at the moment, because I love the school system.
That's kind of how we are too, though.
And you know, I love these kids, and I want what's best for them. And the idea that I personally would not feel that way, it hurts my feelings, so, you know, I'm here. So I'm going to, of course I'm going to, but I can assure everybody that we are going to do everything we can to fix the issues that we have and make it a healthy life.
I'm sure everybody appreciates that.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming. Sorry for running late.
You have information.